Well, welcome to the Stone Roadie podcast. It's the one you don't want to miss. It stars Greg Reed, the Stone Roadie, and Griff, the rocket scientist. Let's not forget Kathy GODSEY and all the old friends come along. Lord Willie talking Skynyrd and leaving you with a song.
All right, podcast 84, action. All righty then, looky here who we got. We got the lovely Kathy GODSEY back with us on the Stone Roadie Show, Saturday Night Live edition. And welcome back, Kathy GODSEY.
Thank you, Craig. Lots happened since I last saw you. I got a marriage proposal from Tony Mays.
Yeah,
Thank you, Tony. You made my day.
Yeah, we've been talking about getting you on again, and I mentioned yesterday that, you know, if you had any skin information y'all want to know, we're going to do a Saturday night special. Oh my gosh, we got bombarded, and me and Automotive went out last night to the drag races, you know, and there's a Lynyrd Skynyrd tribute band, local Northeast Ohio Lynyrd Skynyrd tribute band called Mr. Breeze that played out there for some friends of mine. So I went up to the drag races and the rock show last night. Automotive and I did, and he came over and we were he noticed that I didn't get any more donations this week on our top donation board, so he gave me another $100, so that put him number 2 on the top donations list over there. Yeah, we're not going to cover any of these donations there this week. We're just going to appreciate everybody that's donated, and we're going to send these checks out to these Mark Frank and Paul Welsh and Gene Odom here. This next week, all of them are going to get $500 from the Stone Roadie Show, and then I'm going to send Griff his $100 that Anonymous Mary wanted him to get, and I'll just keep $100 that she sent to me too. Then thank you, Anonymous Mary, and then, you know, Tony Mays, yeah, he's the one that sent you the marriage proposal. Yeah, he's at number 4.
Hey, I'm not married right now.
on our top donators, and then we got Joseph Mueller with $101, and my buddy Steve Etheridge from the Murphy's Law band. Here's a local band in the Akron, Canton area, and then Jerry Birdsey, he's the one that started this whole thing out with the donations. Well, he didn't start it out. He just more or less insisted he wanted to, you know, send in some money. So I did this post office box thing. So, okay, that's all we're going to do with the donation thing this week. And we're going to move right along. We got, Kathy's got to go out tonight. She got some things she's got to take care of tonight. So
big plans.
So anyways, yeah, we got a lot of questions she's going to ask, and we didn't even have time to do any pre-qualifying on these questions to see how much I knew about it.
I know
some of them there. I can't remember the ones I looked at right now, but
I know. Well, that's because Craig was jibber jabbering. So I said, "Look, I got to go out 4:30. Let's cut to the chase and get going here."
Well, we were talking about Beulah because we had talked about Beulah was going to be on this week. Alan Collins' friend Beulah, but she had an unexpected thing she had to do and go to work this Saturday, so she wasn't able to do it. So we're gonna organize a time to where maybe during the week we can pre-record and then put her on from, I guess, maybe next Saturday night or whatever.
Yeah.
Special, you know. So okay, let's just roll on right along with this edition of the Saturday night special of the Stone Roadie Show, Miss Kathy GODSEY.
Thank you. And I just want to add with regard to Beulah, Barbara Beulah Carter, she's very excited. She's definitely coming on the show. her daughter has the computer. She's not computer savvy. They just have to meet up and get on the computer. And whenever she's available this week, I said, let me know and we'll do the meeting. She was very close to Alan. She's got some wonderful stories. She has some things she won't even disclose. Some things that are just really, personal and personal experiences with him. And she has a lot of nice things to talk about. So I'm really excited to have her on. And if anybody recalls, the first episode that I was on, podcast 28, was when I mentioned that I went to Alan Collins's house and she was there. And I sent Craig a copy of the picture that I took with everybody in it, and Barbara Beulah was sitting in the picture. So Craig is going to use that for the green screen when we do the meeting. So hopefully we'll do it this week, but she's definitely on board and she's really excited. And actually, I have 2 other people in mind that I'm trying to reach out to get on the podcast too. I'm not going to say anything until I get them, and I'll let you guys know when I get them, but they're secrets. They're people who knew Alan and who were part of their lives. So anyway, again, thanks for having me on, Craig. I love doing this show, Saturday Night Special. And I do want to give
very requested co-host. Everybody, where's Kathy?
That's because I'm a female. All these guys on this show, you have to mix it up. Plus, I'm a Yankee. So anyway, so I want to say hi to Mike and Wendy Caruso. I talked to Mike the other day. I love those guys. I love them. I want to meet Mike and Wendy someday. If I ever get out to Montana, I want to go visit them. They're salt of the earth people. And Mike was on one of the podcasts, and everybody loved him. I also want to give a shout out to some new people that have been writing and saying hi and saying nice things. Brian Woods, Kent Miller, Herb Grauer, Angela Lynyrd. She's on your board there as a top donator.
Yeah, Angela.
Angela. Cool, really nice. She's my friend on Facebook, and she's really nice and positive, which I like.
Yeah, she's real cool. She's a biker woman too. Yeah.
Oh, she is.
She's real free-spirited. Yeah.
Yeah, really nice, really positive. Dave McCormick, somebody by the name of Ronnie 5129, Steve Jones, John Louder. John Louder sends me messages that are so long, paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs.
I get those. Yeah.
What? But I love them. I read them when I can. Brian DeLore, Tim Maney, Doug Harris, Jennifer Ray Hill, Angela Weeks, Gary Wilson, Janie Peak, Mike Stallings. He said, love the podcast. I'm hooked. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Mike. And then my nephew, who's my godson, Tommy Holden, he's hooked. He's like, I can't believe my godmother is doing a podcast. She's so cool. I love you, Tommy. Tommy's birthday is July 12th. Tommy Holden's on board. He's out in LA right now. Okay. So then we have a lot of questions and things, but I'm going to mix them up with some nice comments, some funny things people have written. Craig, we didn't get to preview them, but I have them actually grouped into sections organized for you. So I'll say, hey, we're going to talk about Steve King. We're going to talk about Ronnie. And this way you have a chance to process before I ask you the questions. So Brian DeLore, he watched podcast 34 recently. And he said, I really enjoy this podcast. It was like I had 2 friends over and we were talking, except I wish I could have made a couple of comments. You can rest assured I'll be watching your future programs. So thanks so much, Brian DeLore. I remember podcast 34. I think that's when Craig and I were talking about food, and I said I would never eat another donut or a bagel again. And we were talking about how they pump gas here in New Jersey, and you're like, what do you mean they pump your own gas? So I think that was the one, but it was fun. And then Terry Lunsford, he had a nice, he wrote this comment on YouTube. He said, with regard to all the drama that goes back and forth, which I don't even want to get involved in, he says, everybody has the right attitude. Craig and Griff would have done really great. Kathy would have made the perfect groupie. Well, you know what? Terry, look at podcast 34 and you'll see that I would not have made the perfect groupie. I'm sorry, podcast 29. Podcast 29 was a couple of opportunities I had and I said, no, thanks. So I would have gotten my butt kicked. Okay, so Craig, the first couple of things, and I have these organized for you because we didn't get to preview them. First couple of things have to do with Ed King. Okay. Steve Jones, he said, Ed King once had a website, and I asked him about the song T for Texas and if he ever played that with the original band. His response was, it's funny you should ask that because I actually brought that song to the band and did the arrangement for it. And then I was shocked by the live album version because it was nothing like he had worked out. Do you recall that? And his actual question to you is, do you recall Ed ever playing T for Texas with Lynyrd Skynyrd, the original band?
No, I don't actually. Now that you mention, I can't really recollect that
Okay.
particular incident. No.
Okay. Yeah, because I only know from the live albums, but like one more from the road and this and that, but he wasn't on there. So apparently they rearranged his original arrangement. So anyway,
T
okay.
for Texas was always one of their real popular
Yeah.
kind of finishing songs, T for Texas or Crossroads, before they would play Freebird, they would either play Crossroads or T for Texas in there.
Yeah. One of my favorites. Okay. Thank you. Tony Cope. Hey, Tony. He wants to know if there are any updates on Ed King's book. Wasn't Sharon putting out a book?
She was, yeah. Last I talked to Sharon, she was asking me about some pictures. She's real apprehensive about using pictures that might belong to other people because she just doesn't want to get involved in any legal stuff. And she was wanting to know if I actually had any pictures that I could donate. And I really can't come across any with Ed. And she said, well, they don't necessarily have to be from Ed. They can be with other members of the band, but she just doesn't want to use pictures that somebody else took, I guess. I don't know. She just she's real, she's dealt with this lawsuits pertaining copyrights and stuff, and she just doesn't want any part of that. But yeah, she's definitely planning on putting that book out sometime in the near future, I hope. Yeah, I know she's trying to finalize it. Last I heard, yeah, she just became my Facebook friend here not long ago. She sent me a friend request. So Facebook's like any of the other thing. I don't send out people to be my friend. That I always, they always have to send me a friend request. So I was kind of shocked that I got one from her actually.
Maybe she'll come on the podcast.
But I accepted it right away, So I asked her. I talked to her a couple times on the phone. I asked her if she'd ever come on the podcast, and she goes, "What would I have to talk about?" I toured with Sharon. She when Ed was with the band, she actually was the wardrobe person on
really?
a couple of the tours, yeah, and I went out and did laundry with her and stuff, So, me and Sharon had some history on the road, yeah.
You know what? That's an interesting thing you just mentioned because somebody asked a question. Melissa, she said, "Did they do their own laundry on the road?" Literally.
No.
She asked that question.
Normally, I did it. Normally, me or Dean. I didn't do it. They did before. Like Dean came along, everybody did their own type of laundry. I didn't really do it then, But then when Dean came aboard, he did Ronnie's and Gary and Alan's, and stuff and Artemis and all of them always did their own, but Gary and Alan and Ronnie always had Dean do it, and then during the tribute tour, that's when they really got a wardrobe person, and I was always involved with because I was always the one that gathered up all their clothes they wore during during the performance, you know, and
Mhm.
gather them all up and put them in bags to send out to be laundered and stuff. So yeah, no, they don't
Cool.
do their own laundry.
Yeah. Wow. That would have been a cool job. I would have done their laundry. I would have washed all their stage outfits.
I wasn't good at it. I think I got fired from doing their laundry. I think one
Yeah.
time because you had to put it in the bus, you know, you had to take the you know, to get it to the next show after the gig. The only way you could get it there was to put it in bags and put it in the bus, you know, and then and then sometimes that stuff that got put in the bus didn't get handled correctly. And then one time I had a silk kind of kimono that was wet that belonged to Dale, and it kind of got misappropriated in with some other things that had colors in them, and
Oh
she wasn't
no.
she wasn't real happy about that. I think that's when I got fired from doing laundry.
I remember that silk kimono. I think she had a red one that she used to wear.
There's the
Yeah.
white one, yeah.
Oh, the
But
white
yeah,
one. Yeah.
but yeah, when
Yeah.
things are wet and they get touching other things that have colors in them, yeah, they kind of bleed. But it wasn't my fault. Somebody got in there and was real rough with the bags.
All right, cool.
Roadies get in there looking for things and they don't care what's in those bags. They just shuffle them around. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
All right. So there you go, Melissa. We segue right into that question. And then the other question Melissa has, her name is Mel Issa. So I guess that means Melissa. She said, were there any, well, we know about how Ed felt like he just really didn't really blend in with the other, get along with the other. Oh, there's a bad thunderstorm out here now. I hope the electricity doesn't go out. But anyway, or were there any band members that just didn't really get along with each other? Didn't like each other, or did they pretty much all get along and were professional?
Everybody got along with each other. Yeah, everybody. There were no two band members that actually hated each other.
I wouldn't think so, because they wouldn't be, you can see the chemistry when they perform and the photos and all that. So I wouldn't think that there was any animosity or anything like that, right?
But Ed was kind of an outsider more than
Yeah.
the others, and Billy didn't really hang out with Gary and Alan and Ronnie. Didn't really get involved in hanging around with them much.
Mm-hmm.
And or did Leon didn't really hang out with Gary or Alan or Ronnie much, but
Yeah. That's what Barbara Beulah was saying too. She said, for a while, of course, Gary was always over, but then Gary took off, and that you were over hanging out with Alan a lot. But she said she didn't see Leon very much at Alan's house.
no.
Okay. And then the next question is from Les Evie. He said, asks, did any of the band members besides Ronnie have a temper?
No, I don't think so. No, not really.
Okay. All right. And also,
Alan would get frustrated at stuff,
really?
Yeah, yeah.
For example, what would make him flustered?
Oh, I don't know. Just if things weren't going right, he just would get frustrated.
What would he do?
Just.
I mean, would he be physically aggressive or
no? He was
verbally,
just just kind of just emotionally frustrated. Just
okay, yeah, okay, cool.
shows
By the way, Alan, their hair. I know that you said they didn't do their own laundry, but their hair. Who cut their hair? Did they ever I mean, their hair always looked nice, so obviously they groom themselves, but did anybody cut their hair or do anything with their hair?
I don't know. I don't know who their hairstylists were. No.
Maybe their wives, like did Kathy
Uh,
Collins cut Alan's hair
I would
ever?
imagine whoever cut Kathy's hair cut Alan's hair. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because you could see sometimes it was shorter, sometimes it was longer. He had an amazing head of hair for a guy. Okay.
I usually had the same beautician as my wife did when I was married, all 5 times.
A beautician. You go to a beautician?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think I don't know if they're hairdressers, barbers, they're all hairstylists,
High
you know.
stylists, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. All right. So the next question, last time on the podcast, we were talking about the Tokyo hat incident. You know, if anybody goes on to YouTube, you will find Cameron Crowe's retelling of the whole thing in Tokyo with Ronnie's hat incident. It was a really great story. And I love Cameron Crowe, the way he told that story. He's such a good storyteller. And I mentioned that I want to get him on the podcast, and I'm utilizing my idea of 6 degrees of separation to try to reach him, because I know I can if I have the right contacts. But I've tried to contact him through Facebook and Instagram with no such luck. But I'm going to keep working on it. I want to get a message and maybe get him on the podcast. But in any event, Landon Jacob Cooper, he says, what do you recall about the incident with Ronnie's hat in Japan? I know they were at a bar called Beulah, and they were all happy, I guess, because this album is just released, and then something happened. Somebody started fondling a little Japanese girl, and then turned out to be a big, incident. Do you recall that? Was it really a big deal?
I was there, but I was kind of busy doing my own thing, probably trying to fondle a little Japanese girl myself. I was busy trying to fondle my own little Japanese girl. But yeah, I just remember I noticed there was some activity going on in the area where the band was located. So I kind of meandered over that way, and we all were kind of in a hurry to get the heck out of there. That's kind of all I remember. I really wasn't involved in that thing. I was just, I remember us hustling out the door and kind of laughing about the whole situation that had just occurred, and going back to the hotel and, kind of talking.
All right. So Cameron
Crowe, it was just, to me, it was just one of those nights. It wasn't anything that was really out of the ordinary. And had I known it was going to be a moment in history 50 years later, I'd have paid more attention. I guess I was kind of busy doing my own thing. But sorry about that.
Yeah, you can't be everywhere, every place, every time, right? No, I would recommend that. That the gentleman Landon Jacob Cooper, just go find that YouTube interview with Cameron Crowe. It was really great. I think it was on the King Biscuit Flour Hour back in the 70s. All right. Next one is just a comment from Glenn H. He says, Gene Odom is a class act. You're all lucky to know him personally. And maybe one day I can come out to Jacksonville and take that tour with the infamous Gene Odom. And I agree with that, because if it weren't for Gene, I never would have met Alan Collins and you, or I'd not even been here if it weren't for Gene. So I definitely agree. Gene is a really great guy, and classy, and a real true gentleman. A couple of weeks ago, Gene was in New Jersey at the Rocks and Ridges Festival, and I wish I had known, because I would have gone out there to meet up with him, but I didn't know. I tried to contact him, so I wish I had known. Gene, if you're watching this, next time you come to New Jersey, you better let me know. Okay. All right. And then the next question is from Keely Diamond with regard to Alan's family. Keely wants to know, have you kept in contact with anybody from Alan's family?
Amy kind of dropped out of the whole scene. She just really just dropped out of the whole scene. I think she just got kind of tired of the whole stigma, the whole situation, and moved to South Carolina, I believe. And she just, as Chad tries to keep in contact with her, but she really, from what Chad says, she really kind of doesn't really try to ignore him, but just because she just doesn't want to be reminded of any of that stuff. She's got her own family now and a couple children, and she just would rather not revisit that time of her life.
I believe
And
she has grandchildren too.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
And Allison is a sweetheart. She's in a slow learners type of situation, and Alan's sister Betty kind of looks after Allison, is kind of protective of her, I guess. And so I've heard that when she always asks about me, and stuff, I'm glad she still remembers me and everything. But yeah, Chad tries to keep up with them, but I don't really have any contact with them, anymore.
Okay. Yeah, when I talked to Mike Caruso the other day, he keeps in contact. He's very close with Betty Collins Keene, Alan's sister. And Betty's husband passed away a couple of months ago. I think she had was married I guess they met in high school. But anyway, I think her grandnephew, Michael Collins, who looks strangely like Alan, too much like a lot like Alan, he just had a child. So she has a couple of new grandchildren, grandbabies. And but I think she lives around Jacksonville also. Yeah. But she looks after Allison, as you said, and makes sure, takes care of her. Okay. Wayne Roberts from the Waning Interest podcast. Hey, Wayne. I was listening to his podcast the other day. He said, check this out from this one area. He told me exactly what to listen to. And he gave a shout out to us again. And he said, I want to get the three of those guys on my podcast. So his question was, when are the three of you coming on the Waning Interest podcast?
God, we can arrange that. You seem to
Yeah.
have the contact with him. I'm up for doing it. I'll go out and do other projects. That'd be pretty.
Yeah, we
cool.
could do a Zoom meeting on his podcast. But Wayne, reach out to Griff. All right, Griff will set this up. I just say okay. I just say okay, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to get involved in setting this one up. Okay, so we're on board, Wayne. Wayne Roberts, we'll do it. Okay, Brian Woods. He sent me a lot of questions.
I guess we just elected Griff the executive director of the Stone Roadie show.
Griff, I love you. I've never met Griff, too. If I go to Jacksonville ever, I want to meet Griff, I want to see Gene, and I want to go see Beulah. Those are my three things I want to do in Jacksonville. Okay, Brian Woods. He has a question about what the guys did with their money when they had a lot of money. And he said, well, we know you had mentioned that Alan bought Kathy a Mercedes station wagon, right?
On a credit card, yeah. That's funny.
But in addition to Alan, did Alan, Gary, or Ronnie, did they ever buy their moms, dads, or family members anything elaborate or extravagant with their money?
Gary bought his mother, basically anything she needed. He bought her a brand new car. I believe he bought her a brand new Pontiac Bonneville, a great big one.
Oh.
And I think she just wanted to stay in the house that where she was used to. I don't think she wanted to move to a bigger house or anything. She stayed in that house where she was at. But yeah, I'm sure he took care of her, any needs she needed, yeah. Yeah, Gary loved his mother. You know, he had a tattoo in memory of mother 20 years before his mother died on his arm. So yeah,
What about
I was with Gary the night his mom died. Yeah, he was real upset about that.
oh, I'm sorry about that. What about Alan's mother? Now, Eva Strunk was Alan's mother, right? His birth mother. What did I know that the mom dad got divorced, and I think they both got remarried, didn't they? Didn't his parents both?
I can't you know what, I can't recollect ever really meeting Alan's mother. I think I did once, but I can't really, you know,
Okay.
remember. I think she came to a show one time we were in Jacksonville, but I can't really remember it.
Okay. I recall seeing a little video clip after Alan passed away, and it was a video of his mom, and she was crying, and she said, it's hard to lose a son. And I thought she looked a lot like Alan. I think that's where Alan got his physical features. Didn't seem like he looked too much like his father, but I feel that I know he was tall like his father, but his physical features look very much like his mother, Eva
Yeah, I
Strunk.
spent a lot of time with Larkin. Me and Larkin had an office together.
Right.
During Washington Collins. I spent just about every day with Larkin, you know, 8 to 5. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Tony Mays. Will Kathy Godsey marry me? Okay, Tony. All right. So now there are a couple of questions about Ronnie. Okay, got a couple of them here. Rachel Taylor asks, do you remember a time when Ronnie fell off the stage? Did that
No,
ever
I
happen?
read that question. No, I don't think that ever happened.
Okay.
Jumped off the stage into the crowd a couple of times. He never fell off the stage. Alan fell off the stage once, and so did Liam.
Really? Tell us about that.
I think he just uh, had so much forward momentum going. He just kind of went off the stage. He took off running and went to stop and didn't quite make it. I kind of just fell off in the stage, up in the crowd. But you know,
Wait,
so many.
was this a big stadium or a little place? Where did this happen?
Oh, I can't remember exactly, but you know, people just kind of pushed him back up on stage. You know,
Wow, I wish I were there for that. Oh
but
my God.
I don't remember him falling all the way up into the stage. I wasn't the guitar roadie at that time,
Yeah,
so
cool.
I
Wow,
played the
wish I
drums.
were there. I would have
I
caught him.
didn't really, you know, when you're sitting back behind the drums and stuff, all that stuff hides you from everything, you know.
Were you, as roadies, I think you mentioned in one of the other podcasts, you guys were supposed to stay invisible. People weren't supposed to see you.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be, you know, seen really, you know, but that's why all the roadies wear black so you can get as much as yourself out and stay focused on what's going on without being seen. So that's why roadies all wear black. Yeah, you're not supposed to be out there, you know, with your head stuck over the amp or nothing like you see me doing all the time.
I was waiting for you to stop speaking. Wait a minute now, Craig. Hold on. Your
Yeah.
cover picture on Facebook has you sitting there right behind Alan in plain sight, no shirt, and you're circled. Like, there he is. What do you mean stay out of sight with your black shirt? No.
It seems like every time I did it, somebody took my picture. No, I was kind of always visible, I guess. I was always the one out there. You know, it's usually if somebody jumped on stage, I was usually the first one out there to kind of grab them and politely dance them off stage.
But you said if it was an attractive female, you wouldn't dance them off the stage, right? What would
Well,
you have
yeah.
done, Craig? Tell us the truth.
I danced them behind stage.
That's see, at least you're being honest. You know, Craig, I'm not going to repeat it, but Craig was in charge of all the passes, and he said that there were different types of passes given for certain criteria to be met before you were before you were able to meet the band.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about it. Craig was the pass man. All right. Okay, the next
Somebody
question
asked
is
me if
from,
I would talk about some of the passes I gave some of the girls that wanted to meet Ronnie. I said, no, I don't think I'll talk about
that's what I was referring to. That's what I was referring. You want to meet Ronnie? How bad you want to meet Ronnie? Okay. So if they met Ronnie, Ronnie knew by looking at that pass. There was a special pass. Oh my God. I don't know if I'm blushing, you're blushing. All right. John Nottingham wants to know, if you know this, what was Ronnie's favorite Lynyrd Skynyrd song? If there was one, because there were
The
so
easiest one to sing, probably. I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't tell. Yeah, it would be the easiest one to sing, I would imagine.
Really?
Or the most the one that I don't know. Yeah, that would be a tough one, you know. The one to wonder which one was his favorite to write or to sing or his favorite song. I imagine there's different categories to that question. Which one made him the most money probably was his favorite.
That's true. Sometimes people put out a poll, what are the 5 best albums ever? I mean, you can't answer that question. You can't, there's no such, first of all, it's all, depending on people's perspectives and people's taste, but yeah, Ronnie wrote most of those songs. So
yeah, he wrote them all.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So he penned or wrote all of them either by himself or with the other band members. None of them were
he
written
wrote
by
all the words. Yeah.
Wow.
The band, Gary or Alan didn't help him out with the words, and Alan was his favorite go-to song co-writer, I guess you would say. Ronnie had an idea, he would kind of go to Alan and ask him to put music to this.
Oh, cool. The last
Ronnie never messed with Alan. Out of all the people on the band, Ronnie never messed with Alan.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thought that if he messed with Alan too much, Alan would just go and do something on his own. Well, he never messed with Steve either, Alan or Steve, and he never messed with Artemis, because Artemis was pretty tough, I mean,
he was a Marine. He's not going to mess with Artemis.
Ronnie wouldn't have had a good time with Artemis, so he didn't.
Artemis would have had a good time with Ronnie.
But so I saw the question somebody asked, and I don't know if it's on your little list, that Artemis seemed to be the only one that would stand up and fight with Ron, be there to back him up. Yeah. But I don't. You know what? I can't remember when that incident ever really took place where that was necessary.
Yeah.
Where Artemis was there and Ronnie needed some backup. All I remember is the beating on my door at 2:30 or 3 in the morning. Do I have a friend? What's wrong, Ronnie? Oh, people down the bar messing with me. We'll probably get our asses beat, but they'll know they've been in a fight.
That's funny, because one of the other questions somebody asked was, did you ever get into a fist fight with Ronnie? I wasn't even going to include that because I kind of knew that.
I would have never done. No, I would have never.
Yeah. I didn't put that on my list.
That would have been the end of my rock and roll career.
That's right.
Wouldn't have gone over very well. No.
Okay. All right. Mike Stallings. Ronnie had a tattoo on his right arm. Do you know what that tattoo was?
I can't remember. No, I can't. He had tattoos on both of them. I can't remember which one was which.
Okay. We'll have to go back and look at the photos. Whoever, Mike, go back and look at the photos and send us a picture of it. And Craig will try to, help
Yeah,
you
if I
remember
seen
where
it,
he got
I
it.
can't remember at this
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
I know
Now, Ron,
Leon had a moon and a star and whatever on one arm, and it kind of faded out, and I think he had Ronnie tattooed over that one.
oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
moon and a star, and it all faded out, and Leon had it redone. But I think he had it redone with Ronnie on it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. This question is from Robert Lamb. Now, are you familiar with the Ronnie Van Zant Memorial Park in Green Cove
Not,
Springs?
no, Harton. I don't think I was ever even there.
All right. Well, I Googled it
I
to
mean,
find out about
I'm
it.
familiar with it. Yeah, and
Right.
they were doing some stuff, and they were raising money to do stuff out there for kids and this and that and the other thing. And there was a big sign out there, but I don't think any of that's even out there anymore. I think that whole
Really?
foundation thing got shut down. I don't know. I don't think there's any. I don't think there's a Freebird Foundation anymore. I think that all got shut down.
Well, I just Googled the Ronnie Van Zant Memorial Park this morning on Google, and it looks like it's still there and active. It says it's in Green Cove Springs, and it said his family donated the 90-acre park for families to enjoy. They have a playground, disc golf course, tennis, pickleball courts, basketball courts, soccer field, softball, volleyball, a nature trail, and a fishing pond with piers. So I assume that's still there. That was just today. I saw it on the website. So, but Robert Lamb's question was, did you attend the ribbon cutting ceremony? And I guess you did not.
No,
Okay.
I didn't know.
Okay. All right. The next question, again, pertaining to Ronnie, with regard to his high roller hat. Lloyd Jacob Frayne wants to know if you know when Ronnie got his first snakeskin high roller hat and maybe where he got it.
I think I saw that question earlier, and
Was that Mad Hatters or Texas Hatters or something
the
like that?
Texas Hatters. God, what was the name? Texas Hatters was well, we got them from Texas Hatters, and then it turned into Tommy Charlie One Horse. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was started out Charlie One Horse, I think.
Yeah.
And then that turned into Texas Hatters. And I think Charlie One Horse we got him from. And I think probably like the first ones he had that the snake head on it.
Do you recall when he got that? I mean, did he already have the hat when you joined the band, or did he get that? No. Okay.
No, not in 74. It was 75-ish.
Okay. All right. And then the next question is again from Brian Woods. Brian sent me a lot of questions. Ronnie wore a black T-shirt with the name Sam on it. Do you know? I think we talked about this once before. Do you know who Sam was?
Sam was the bus driver.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I remember asking you that question once before. Okay. Wow. So tell me about Sam. Was he, Sam who?
Sam was on the "Give Me Back My Bullets" album. Sam was the big guy that has the sport coat on and the cowboy hat. That was Sam, the bus driver.
Oh, is he still around?
Oh no, God, that was 50 years ago. My God, he'd be 100 and some years old.
Oh. Or he could be 70. It depends on how old he was,
No, he was probably 50s and then,
Oh,
so,
all right, he's
he'd
gone.
be over 100 years old.
Okay, no, I was thinking about a potential podcast.
No, that's what's crazy. Lynyrd Skynyrd, that's almost 50 years ago. I mean,
yeah.
If you were 50 back then, you're dead, man. I mean, God.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for that. Okay, there you go, Brian. We know the bus driver. All right. These are just some random little questions people ask. They're so funny. Ken James, he says, you know what? We need 3-inch Stone Roadie show window stickers. You guys make those, you could give the profit to the survivors. Plus, that's good advertisement. So come on, let's do this. Come on, Griff. Get these, or whoever made your who made those business cards for you? The Stone Roadie business cards.
Oh, my niece.
Oh, get her to make some window stickers.
she owns Atlantic Press.
Come on, let's do it. 3-inch. I'll put one on the back of my car, and you can sell them. Come on, let's do it, Craig.
I don't think they do window stickers at the print shop.
Well, let's come on, Griff. I'm putting this one on you. This is yours. All right.
I don't
Merch.
know which design we would make.
I know.
Roadie designs we could use.
Well, the regular one with the letters.
Yeah.
You know, with the letters spilled. I think didn't Don Mars create that for you?
He did, yeah. He the Stone Roadie that's sitting on the case. It was some guy. It was some hillbilly sitting on a bale of hay with a moonshine jug, and his wife Debbie said, "Man, don't that look like Craig?"
It does look like you. I thought that was you.
So he bought it and painted it and made the bale of hay into a Lynyrd Skynyrd equipment case and turned the moonshine jug into a Stone Roadie jug and put a Trump hat on me and. But then you got me to shave, and then I got, oh no, I need to X the beard, and then but now I got the near buried bird back. So
I know you dropped 20 years when you shaved. Craig said, Craig's thing is only the best will do. So he buys this like $400 razor. And then didn't somebody give you a cheap razor and you returned the $400? You're like,
it wasn't a cheap one. It was one somebody got, for a Christmas present about 20 years ago, and they never used it. And it's a real like a Remington or something. Yeah, Sammy gave it.
Yeah. So, all right. So you sent the $400 one back.
Yeah.
Okay. They both do the same thing, Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about those 3-inch window stickers. I think those are really cute. You put them on the back window or even like bumper stickers, but I think window stickers are good. I love them. I'd have one on my car. I think it's a cool idea.
It'd have to be transparent though. I mean, you'd have to make it so it would be see-through.
Yeah. That's a no-brainer. It's transparent and you have the black letters on it. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Come on, Craig. Come on. All right.
Well, I haven't thought about it. I have to design it,
All right. Money for the survivors, any profit, whatever. Right. Okay. So the next question is from A. Milan. Okay. Wants to know, did the guys wear cologne?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. That would have been a good advertisement. Also, by the way, A. Milan says the last show you and I did, we were talking about the end song, Happy Trails to You, and I got you to sing the song. I said, what do you mean you have it? Griff records it. And you sang it, and everybody liked it. He said, by the way, I'm so glad Craig sang live on this podcast. So you're doing that again today. You're doing that today. No more recorded stuff. Come on, man.
I like my theme song.
Yeah, but we all want to hear you sing.
Podcast.
Yeah, I do too, but we want to hear you sing live. I mean,
well, you ought to like it. Your name's in there.
I do, but I'm talking about the end of it. You're supposed to sing Happy Trails live. So when I'm on here, you're singing Happy Trails live, and that's all there is to it. Okay.
But while I'm thinking of it, Chad straightened me out on the attendance at the for the thing in Jacksonville. I can't remember the dang name of that event they got going on down there in Jacksonville at the Armory. But I was saying it only held 350 people. Chad actually said it says it holds like 560 people.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
So how does that look so far? Are there a lot of people going down there for that?
Yeah, the advertising starts, I guess the TV and radio and stuff, advertising starts like today or tomorrow or something, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I guess
Cool.
that they started the advertising out and they were advertising as a Lynyrd Skynyrd event, and Chad says, no, we can't do that.
Oh,
You can't
no, they can't do that. No, because I know I keep getting
had to redo it.
on I keep getting tagged in things about going. I'm not going. But no, but anyway, I hope it's a good turnout. I hope they make money for the survivors. All right, the next question is from Kim Voigt. She wants to know how Paul Abraham is doing. You know, I bought his book back in November, and I haven't really seen too much of him. Have you talked to him, or you
I
know,
haven't talked to him lately. I guess he's still hanging in there. Yeah, we need to get him. We need to get him back on. I'd like to get him back on again with Mike Estes. You know, him and Mike were neighbors at one time, and they're good friends. Like Mike's, from what I understand, has been touring over in Europe, so that's why he hasn't been around. Yeah, we're gonna have to get Mike back on, or Paul back on. Yeah, we need to get Pops back on, and everybody's been thinks Pops a good and Mike Owings and Kenny Peden and Mark Howard and Mark Franks and everybody we had on before. We'd like to get them on for round 2. You know, we're gonna turn the 100 mark here pretty soon for the Stone Roadie show. We're at 84. Heck, it wasn't long ago you and I were doing podcast 50. You know,
geez. I know, and I came on 28. 28 was the first one I did, so that was cool. Yeah.
So this is your 16? I've lost count. I think this is 16 for you.
You know what? I've lost count too, but I know that I started at 28. Yeah, it was almost a year ago. It's amazing. It was 11 months ago. Crazy. The year goes by. All right. David Selders. He's a funny guy. He's got a little joke. He said, I don't know if you read this. He asks, what did the chicken say before crossing the road?
Watch out for the cars, I guess.
Give me 3 steps. Hey, I didn't write it. Thanks, David. He put that on there. All right. Funny. I love that, David. All right. Carrie Upton. Is there now I don't know anything about this, but you might. Any truth to the Bobby Gaines rumor after Street Survivors? You have any idea what that means?
Well, Bobby Gaines was going to play drums after Street Survivors? No, I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. But that would have been the only thing I know of, because Gaines was a drummer, and there was I heard some speculation or something that Artemis wasn't getting along with somebody, but I never heard that at all. I never heard anything about Artemis being replaced by Bob Gaines.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't even know Steve and Cassie had another brother. I thought it was just the 2 of them.
Bob Gaines. Yeah, he passed away a couple years ago.
Okay. All right. Yeah, last podcast, somebody had asked about how Teresa passed away, and somebody wrote and answered that question. They said she passed away of some type of cancer. I think it was 2014 or something like that. It was a while ago.
That's what I thought it was, but I don't like to comment on something unless I know.
Okay. All right. Glenn Heindel. Hi, Glenn. I see he's around a lot too. He says, hey, Kathy. Hey, Glenn. Okay. On the song Honky Tonk Nighttime Man, Ronnie said that sounds like Roy. after Steve's guitar solo. Do you know which Roy he's referring to?
Roy Clark.
Okay.
Sounds
Somebody
like
thought it was Merle Haggard's guitarist, Roy Nichols. A couple of people were going back and forth. Somebody said they thought it was Roy Clark or Roy Nichols. Okay, so it was Roy Clark.
Roy Clark, yeah.
Okay, very good.
Like Roy.
Yeah, sounds like Roy. Okay, there you go. Okay, Dave McCormick. What are your thoughts on the Street Survivors movie?
Artemis's movie?
He just said Street Survivor.
That's Artemis's movie. Yeah, that's Street
Yeah.
Survivors. That's his movie.
Have you seen it?
That's Artemis's rendition of the movie, and from what I understand, Artemis didn't have a lot of say so in that movie after the opposition were giving him so much hell about doing a movie, and they didn't want him to do that movie, and it cost the movie company a whole bunch of money to stay on track to do the movie. I guess it had to be changed or whatever to fit in a format that would satisfy whoever or whatever. But
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, Artemis
gotcha.
said he didn't have a lot to do with the way the movie ended up.
Okay, right.
And it got taken out of his hands and kind of made more dramatic or whatever.
Okay, yeah, which is not, unusual. Okay.
So the thing that what really grasped me was the part where Ronnie, when we were about to crash, and Ronnie walked to the back of the plane and looked down at Artemis. That was freaky, because that was the exact look that Ronnie gave me. He walked back to the back of the plane, and I'm looking there at the card table, and I thought he was going to ask me to change seats, because Billy had just been back there wanting to change seats with somebody, and then Ronnie come back and just looked right down at me and didn't say a word. He just looked right down at me, and it was that look. It was just that exact look that's in that movie, and it was pretty freaky. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. The next question is from Darla Jan. Do you happen to recall a concert with Willie Nelson in Oklahoma? She says July 3rd. I guess, I don't know if it's July 3rd, 76, 77. Do you recall them playing with Willie Nelson?
Yeah, I remember playing with Willie. But
anything eventful that you remember about that concert? Okay. Okay.
I didn't know Willie then, but I met Willie after that. I kind of got to know Willie from a mutual drug dealer.
I was just thinking that when you were saying that you got to know Willie.
Yeah, I got to know Willie's weed connection.
What was he like?
Willie was cool, man. Yeah, Willie was he's just a regular guy, I mean.
Right.
All these rock stars, people think there's some alien or something. They're just people with,
talented, lucky, rich people, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Just wanted to be treated like some, just a normal person,
All right. Okay, there you go. Dave Townsend wants to know, were you at any of the Muscle Shoals sessions?
No.
Okay.
I've been to Muscle Shoals, but I was never there during any work. Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Now this is from somebody goes by the name of Smokin' Pots. When did you switch from drum to guitar roadie, and why were you switch from drum to guitar roadie?
I started out as the drum roadie, and then as time went on, I became the stage manager.
Oh.
And then I became the production manager. And while I was production manager, Raymond Watkins was who was at one time 38 Specials guitar roadie, and Chuck Flowers. Well, Joe Barnes was the guitar roadie when I started, and then Joe left the band, and then Chuck Flowers came aboard, and then he became the guitar roadie. And then when I became stage manager, I hired Raymond to do drums. So then Chuck got to the point where he wanted a whole bunch more money to be the guitar roadie, because he heard people were making a bunch more money than he was. And so he went to Raymond and kind of talked Raymond into going into cahoots and forming a union, and going to Ronnie and saying, we want more money or we're walking, you know.
Oh,
and they came to me, they wanted me to do it, and I goes, no, I'm not doing that, you know. So I'm happy with, you know, whatever, you know. So they went to we went to Sir Productions, up at Sir Productions in the office in New York, and we were in this meeting, and Chuck approached Ronnie and said he wanted triple what he was making.
Oh my goodness. Not a good move.
And Ronnie, as I remember, Ronnie offered Chuck up to it was like $15 less than tripling his salary.
Oh my goodness.
Chuck said, another $15, you get a deal. And Ronnie said, F you, just get the hell out of here. And Raymond said, and then Ronnie says, anybody else? And Raymond said, well, you know, I kind of said, you know, agreed with Chuck, and we kind of said we would stick together, and, you know, we get this raise. And he said, well, you get out of here too then.
Good.
Anybody else? And at that point, it's me and Kevin sitting there, you know. So Ronnie looked at me and he goes, well, I know you know how to do drums because you were the drum roadie. He says, but can you get, you know, we're in a bind here. Our drum roadie and our guitar roadie just walked out. Can you do guitars too? And I had roomed with Joe Barnes. So, you know, I watched Joe wrap strings around them pegs on the keys millions of times. So I kind of thought, well, I can do that, you know. And I can put it through the bridge and put it up through there and wrap it around and put graphite on it. You know, and I'd watched Alan do it, and I'd watched Chuck do it. You know, and I goes, well, yeah, I can probably do that. And he goes, well, he said, well, since Chuck's not here, or since Raymond's not here, we need a drum roadie, and he wanted this much money to do drums. And since he's not here, I'll give you that, you know, the raise that he wanted. And since Chuck's not here, I'll give him the raise.
Wow. Good for you.
Since he's not here, I'll give that to you. And he said, I'll give you the same raise. So all of a sudden, I was making 9 times what I was making.
Just for sitting there and shutting your mouth.
Yeah, I was making 9 times my salary.
Good for you.
You know, I could, you know, but then I was stage manager, production manager, drum roadie, and guitar roadie. And then Kevin was doing the keyboards and all this other stuff, but I couldn't do it, you know. I just got burnt out. We were doing shows about every day, you know. So we went home, and that's when they were they came to me and said, "Hey, we're gonna have to hire some other people, and he said, everybody said they like the way you do their guitars, so we'll pay you what a production manager makes, and plus to be the guitar roadie." And I went, "Wow, you mean you're just going to pay me what a production manager makes, and all I got to do is sit in a room and smoke pot and work on guitars and watch TV?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, that sounds like a deal to me."
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so then I became the full-time guitar roadie at that point, but like I've said, I never was a professional guitar roadie. I mean, I knew how to set intonation and and adjust the neck a little bit, and and get it to where it feels right, and get everything into A440, which is all they expected. They didn't do any weird tuning or open E tuning or any weird tuning. Gary's SG was the only one that had any special stuff done on it, and it wasn't really anything special to play Freebird. So yeah, I was just a hack drum roadie. But then the airplane crash happened, and everybody, all of a sudden, Lynyrd Skynyrd's the Guitar Army's guitar tech was available for work, and God, I was getting all kind of guitar tech offers from all these different real popular bands, and I wasn't really that great, I just had a reputation, but I was able to fulfill whatever they needed. Luckily everybody just tuned in A440, and all I did is clean them and tune them and hand them.
Wow,
So
you were in the right place at the right time, really.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool. All right. Great. That was a really good explanation for that, because I always wonder too how that happened, how you transitioned from one
fell into it
job to the other.
but it's funny, but at one time, Raymond Watkins, who I was just talking about, Marshall Tucker needed a guitar roadie. So I found out about it, and Raymond needed a job, and I said, "Hey, Raymond, I'll train you to be a guitar roadie. You can go up and be Marshall Tucker's guitar tech." So I trained. About 2 weeks, I trained Raymond to be a guitar roadie, and he went and got a job as a guitar tech for Marshall Tucker.
That's great. Now, is that Raymond Watkins the one that Dale Krantz had been married to for a while, or is that a different Raymond?
Yeah. And
Oh,
then he's the
okay.
one that his girlfriend shot him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my
Killed him,
goodness.
yeah.
Wow.
Both
Okay.
Chuck and Raymond died of gunshot wounds. Yeah.
Did Chuck Flowers, did you say he took his life after having lost the job? After
That's what I speculate it was from. Right after a party with Rossington Collins that he went to, yeah, he got drunk and went home and took the 30-30 rifle that Ronnie had gave him and stuck it in his mouth and pulled the trigger and literally blew his head off.
Wow.
Raymond went over and cleaned it up. He said, "Craig, there was pieces of his brain in the closet."
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's awful.
Yeah.
Wow. That is a shame. He should have just taken the deal that Ronnie gave him. He bargained too hard on that one. What a shame.
Yeah.
All right. Craig, by the way, where's your little cup? Do you have the little cup you always drink out of next to you?
This one?
Okay, that's the next question. Okay, CCCCC2165. What is Craig always drinking out of that cup with the straw?
Chinese tea.
I already know the answer, but where do you get the tea? What kind of tea is it? Where do you get it? And what do you put in that? What's that recipe for your special tea?
I get it at the Ohio Tea Company down on Fulton Road, and it's Kaba, Kaba, Kaba. tea. It's Chinese tea. It's $80 a pound.
Wow. Now, is that different from the regular tea that you get at a Chinese restaurant?
Actually, when I went to the doctor, she said that my blood pressure was creeping up, and she asked me
Oh.
what I did, and I said, well, I drink about a gallon and a half of tea every day, and she goes, well, it's probably what it's doing is probably full of caffeine, and I
Yeah.
actually looked on Google, and kava is actually good for your blood pressure. It actually is known for calming and soothing. And actually, they said if you're on blood pressure medication, that you should tell your doctor that you drink this because it'll actually intensify the effects of your blood pressure medicine and make it even more active.
Oh,
Actually, you can
wonderful.
drink this stuff right at bedtime, and it's supposed to help you sleep. That has no caffeine in it, you know.
Oh, really? That's
Mhm.
interesting. And what do you put in the tea, Craig?
Honey, raw
You put
honey,
raw honey. And do you drink it warm, hot, or cold?
cold. You know,
Okay.
I brew it.
Wait.
I put it in those half-gallon mason jars. I put 4 tablespoons in a half-gallon mason jar, and then I boil the water, and then I pour the boiling water in that mason jar and let it brew, and then put it in the refrigerator and let it set overnight, and then pour it out of that mason jar into another jar that has a strainer, and actually you can do that twice. You can use the tea leaves, and then you boil water again and pour them back into the tea
Oh,
leaves, and then you can
great.
use that twice.
Oh, good. And it doesn't lose the flavor
Mm-mm,
by
no,
straining it
actually, you
twice.
can do
Okay.
it. You can do it 3 times actually, but I only do
Really?
it twice. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. You know what I just found out recently that when cherries are really cheap now. I mean, in New Jersey, I don't know if they're cheap all over, but New Jersey, they're super cheap. And I've been eating a lot of cherries, and I found out cherries make you sleepy. If you want to go to sleep quickly or with no problems, eat cherries before you go to bed because they make me very tired.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know certain fruit makes you sleepy, but Google it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Because I eat them. I ate them, recently, and I went to work and I was just getting tired. I was eating cherries all day, but they do make you sleepy. Okay. Paula O'Sullivan also agrees. I like it better sorry, I always make a blooper. I like it better when Craig sings Happy Trails live on the show. So there you go. That's another person wants to hear you sing it live. Oh, this is funny. Troy McCary, he said, every guest on this show should have to complete the sentence. Remember when Craig did this? Blank. Remember when Craig? Okay. All right. Don Self. He's asking you after the
Hey,
plane
Don.
crash. Oh,
Hey,
you know Don?
Marcia. Don and Marcia are my favorite people.
Oh, okay. Do they live in Ohio?
No, Don and Marcia live in Mesa, Arizona.
Oh, your friends
Yeah,
from Arizona. Okay.
he invited me out there. He's got a bunch of dune buggies and stuff. He runs around in the desert. He's got all kind of hot rods. He's a real cool guy. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Cool. That sounds like a nice place to take a little vacation. All right. So he asks, after the plane crash, you were offered a position with Foreigner or Journey. How did you get in a plane? Were you okay to get on another plane in just a few months of this crash? Did you have any fears of getting on another airplane?
I wasn't comfortable with it, but I just thought, what's the chances of being on another plane crash? I just looked at it like that. I said, man, you've already been on one. What's the chances of being on two? But that Steve Lawler, who was on the plane crash, I think he's been on 3 since that.
He's been in 3 more plane crashes?
I think, yeah, he's been in at least. I think he's been in 3 plane crashes. Yeah, Steve Lawler. He's still a promoter rep down in Texas. Yeah, he was on the
So
plane.
if people find out that he's on a passenger on a plane, do not get on that plane. I would not fly in a
Oh,
plane that Steve Lawler is going to be
I
flying.
have been on planes next to little old ladies, you know, which is funny because I'm 72. I'm like a little old man now, but when I
Yeah, really? What do you mean, little old ladies?
yeah, it's funny. But I've been on planes with women that was like their first time flying or whatever, and they were just really kind of anxious about flying. I said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've already been on a plane crash. This plane ain't gonna land. I've already been
It's
on
no
one."
biggie.
Yeah, and they're holding my arm while we're taking off. They're holding on to me. It's funny. No, I was in Germany, and right after, right when I got with Foreigner, I went on that world tour, and we were in Germany, and it was kind of bad weather, and it was rainy and sleety and stuff. And I had to get on a
Oh
commuter
my God.
prop plane that was real similar to the one that I crashed on, and I wasn't amused, you know. And then with Marshall Tucker, we got stranded somewhere, and we had to take a private plane out of in Colorado in a snowstorm, and they had to de-ice the plane and everything before we took off, and it was a smaller plane. And I'm going,
Oh
I
my
don't care,
gosh.
I'll fight y'all, but I'm getting in the back.
Yeah, I'm surprised
I'll
you
ride
even
on
got
the plane,
on.
but I'm in the back.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was a pretty weird one, but like I said, I just said, oh well, but
Yeah,
um,
you were very, very courageous.
but yeah, it wasn't long after that. I had a friend of mine that was kind of a drug dealer, and we were up all night long smoking the opium, and he got the crazy idea that he'd call a friend of his that was a pilot, and we'd go rent a plane and fly down to Dayton and have breakfast. So I called one of my old girlfriends, and we went and picked her up. We went and got on a private plane and flew down to Dayton and had breakfast. But we were smoking opium the whole
Oh
way.
my God.
So that was kind of fun.
Wow. That is crazy. You have 9 lives, Craig. You're like a cat. You are like a cat, really. Oh my gosh. That's great. I'm glad that you're still here to talk about it. So after you left Skinner, the first band that you went to work for was Foreigner.
Foreigner, yeah.
And th-
Cheap Trick wanted me to
right.
go on tour before that, and I said, "How many guitars you have?" And they said 28, and I said, "No, thanks,
Yeah.
I'll pass."
So then how did you transition from Foreigner to work with Journey? Like how, and then Marshall Tucker. So how did that happen?
When I went to work with Foreigner, and all I remember was I went to Jacksonville. I remember being at Alan Collins's and standing in Alan Collins's kitchen and talking to Alan and telling him I wasn't ready to go back to work, and he said, "Well, quit." So I got on the phone and I called Buddy Pridden, I think is his name, a manager from Foreigner. I told him I quit. I wasn't ready to go. That was at Alan's house. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I did the European part of Foreigner, and then I took. I said I can't do it. I quit for the American part, and then it was just a few months later. I went to work with Journey. Kevin Elson and Clayton Johnson asked me if I wanted to go work with Journey, so I went and work with Journey. Yeah.
And
But
then
I still
from,
was even at that time. I still wasn't ready. I was in shock. God,
yeah.
I was still in shock. And then as soon as Journey got done, it was 1980. That I called Gary and he said, "Hey, we're putting a band together. You want to come with us?" And that's when I took off and went back with
Mhm.
Roston and Collins, and we were all still in shock. I was still in shock. I was in shock for a good 10 years after that plane crash.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Now, my nephew and godson Tommy Holden wants to know what albums did you recall which albums Foreigner and Journey recorded or worked on while you were with those bands? Do you recall what they worked on?
Both
Which
of them were
albums?
the second albums. Foreigner was Double Vision, and I was up in New York City when they
Okay.
when they did that, and then Journey. I went to Cherokee maybe studio in California somewhere, but yeah, they were still working on that album, and they we were supposed to start touring in Hawaii. So they said, we're gonna stay here and finish working on the double the Infinity,
Mhm.
I think it was the second Journey album. We're gonna stay here and finish up the albums, and you crew guys just go on and go over to Hawaii and wait for us. So we get to Hawaii, and we're there a couple days, and then they called us and said, "Hey, we're gonna stay here in California and finish up this album, and we're gonna blow off that gig in Hawaii." He said, "But we've already got a really big deposit on the hotel over there, so you guys just stay there and spend all the money." So yeah, we hung out there for 2 freaking weeks and just all expenses paid, man. We just laid around the pool and drank daiquiris and went and
Wow.
rented mopeds and just had a ball for 2 weeks, all expenses paid.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
I think we spent more money than we were supposed to. I went on a diving trip and all kind of stuff.
Wow.
We had a great
Wow.
time.
Nice. Okay. Thank you. We still wish you would have written a book or kept memoirs of all these things, but
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I really do. I wish I'd have got at least written some stuff down, but I still got all those itineraries. I can look through there and
yeah.
yeah.
All right. The other question from Tommy Holden is, did you ever work with Toto or get to know any of those guys?
Not
No.
that I
Okay.
remember.
All right. Next questions have to do with the band equipment and Hell House. Okay. Somebody goes by the name of Street Survivors. After they left Hell House and they no longer practiced there, did they continue to practice from morning until night in their new location?
That was the place down on Riverside, the studio down on Riverside when we moved down there. Yeah,
Okay.
basically the same schedule. Yeah, except
Okay.
it was right there in town. We didn't have to drive for 45 minutes to get out to Green Cove. Yeah.
Right. That's where Barbara Beulah lives. She lives at Green Cove Springs, by the way.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Brian Woods, what kind of acoustic guitars did Alan and Gary play?
I don't know the model numbers, but they were Gibsons.
Okay. Did they play their acoustic guitars much during downtime?
No.
Okay.
Matter of fact, Gary didn't really have any acoustic guitars, and when he hurt his foot one time, he was in the hospital, and this was during Rossington Collins, and I'd go over there and see him, and he'd call me up, and I'd go over there and take him Butterfinger bars, candy bars. He'd call it Butterfinger, and I was sitting over. He goes, "Man, I need an acoustic guitar." I said, "What do you want?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know, some big body, big body, a blonde big body." I said, "Guild makes something like that." He goes, "Yeah, that'd be cool. Them big body Guild's blonde with all gold hardware." So I called Guild and told him to send him one. I sent it right to the hospital. Yeah, a great big jumbo body Guild. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Again, from Brian Woods. He has a question regarding the Stratocaster with the Telecaster neck.
Blackie. Yeah.
Did Alan, Gary, or Steve either play on stage or record with that Strat?
Oh yeah, that
Telecaster
was Alan's. Yeah, that was Alan's. That was his favorite Strat. Yeah, it's like
during Rossington Collins, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
54.
yeah.
54 black Strat with a telly neck. Yeah, I think
Okay.
Ed King kind of started that trend. You know, switching uh, necks on a Strat, putting a telly neck on a Strat. I think he's the one that started that little trend.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right. Yeah, I recall seeing that Alan play that a lot, Rossington Collins. Okay, the next question is from Don Eric Evans. What different PV amps did the band use in the old days?
They all used Mace on the live shows. You know, the Mace with the two speakers in them. You know, the cabinets, and then they used the 412 bottoms, but they had JBL speakers in them. 5150s, I think they were. But
Okay.
in the studio, they used the PV Artist amp with a single 12-inch JBL speaker in it, and they could turn it up to like 11 and get it to overdrive without blowing everybody out. So yeah, those artists sounded really really cool. Yeah, and those are the same amps we used in the tuning room too. We used artists in the tuning room.
Okay. Well, he's asking about whether Gary used a Mace VT212. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I can't remember the model numbers of them now.
Okay. Yeah, but they were Mace. Okay.
I just remember they were series, and the inputs, the series and parallel, and
Hmm.
they didn't use the foot switch on them or anything though.
Okay, cool. All right. Pete DeSalvo wants to know what type of setup did Artemis use at the Fox in 1976? Was it the Slingerland?
Slingerlands,
Yeah. Okay.
they were 7-ply maple.
Okay.
Yeah, they were custom made 7-ply. Yeah.
All right. Okay, the next questions are cool. Actually, James Burton and Shari Padula. Hi, Shari. They're both asked questions about Nebworth in 1976. And I actually looked up a little bit today. I looked up, there's a magazine called Classic Rock, and he did an article. Actually, Ian Fortnum did an article in Classic Rock on August 31st, 2017. And the article is titled, What Happened When the Rolling Stones and Lynyrd Skynyrd Played Nebworth? And I'm going to read this. It's really interesting. Bill Wyman of the Stones said that they had 110 pre-sales, but stage announcements on that day estimated 300 people, 300 tickets. I just lost my page. Hold on a second. Sorry, just move my screen. Okay, here we go. After Todd Rundgren and Utopia had finished playing, a band that we'd never heard of launched without any fanfare into a song that was evidently called Freebird. And as it gradually metamorphosed from a gentle, uplifting ballad to an all-out guitar firefight, the vast audience's response went from indifference to adulation. He said, I've never witnessed a crowd react to a support band in the same way that Nebworth did to Lynyrd Skynyrd. Somewhere between the first chorus and the second verse, the band went from unknown names to full-fledged stars. Quote, Skynyrd caused a real buzz backstage. We all wondered how anybody could follow them. An hour later, we all began to wonder if anyone would even try. I thought that was really cool, the way that was a quote written by this author. The questions from Shari and the other gentleman where, oops, sorry, I just got a text and it messed up my whole thing. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna find my question. But what do you recall about that? Were they nervous? Were they pumped about this big festival? What do you recall about that? That
I don't
concert?
recall them being anywhere near unknown. I mean, my God, I remember being in the trailer with the band, and God, Jack Nicholson stopped in, Mick Jagger stopped in. I mean, um, Paul and Linda McCartney was in there. I mean, it seemed like everybody that was anybody would stop at the end of the Lynyrd Skynyrd trailer and smoke the joint or whatever.
Right.
You know, I mean, yeah, I mean, yeah, Mick Jagger was in there, and like I said, um, God.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think it was because it was in Nebworth and not the United States? Maybe they weren't as known there, or maybe because they were all, bands that were, the Stones was the billing on the main bill. So do you think that maybe they didn't expect Lynyrd Skynyrd to just have such a um, you know, do such an amazing performance? Were they not expecting that they did so well?
Well, I don't know. Like I said, Mick came over to the trailer, and I think um Keith Richards, I think he came over.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, did somebody say that the
um,
Skinner blew the Stones off the stage?
well, yeah, and I remember, they were the scuttlebutt about, the band we weren't supposed to go out on the tongue.
Right.
But but then I also remember where Joe Barnes was there. He was kind of like the head electrician guy at the
Mhm.
time when we were there, and he got all the cord that we had, and measured it, and made sure it would reach all the way down to the end of that tongue, and made sure Alan had one long, kind of made sure Alan had one long enough, and Gary had one long enough, and then Steve had one long enough, and then unfortunately we didn't have enough cord for Leon, and he only went about
We
halfway
saw
down.
that.
But
Yeah.
I get Joe said he wished now he would have rigged it so he would have put a 1/4-inch jack in there and taped it together, and then put
Yeah,
another
yeah.
cord on it and made it longer. But he didn't want to rig it like that, in case something, would come loose or something. But yeah, we were. I didn't, from what I remember, nobody treated us like we were like unknown. We were,
Yeah,
like
okay.
I said, I mean, Paul and Linda McCartney were there, around and they were like Artemis said, he was up in the scaffolding, and Paul and Linda were up there with him, and I think Artemis said he caught Paul from falling out of the scaffolding and stuff. So yeah, that I don't remember having anybody having the attitude that was Skinner was like an unknown.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's interesting. So this article, it was Classic Rock Magazine, article August 31st, 2017. What happened when the Rolling Stones and Lynyrd Skynyrd played Nebworth? Apparently, some of them people did not know that Lynyrd Skynyrd was as big as they were, but interesting. All right.
Well,
So
I
they
don't
just
know.
wanted to
Chances
know.
are the guy that wrote that wasn't even alive in '76.
Yeah, really. That's true. You know what? I'm the messenger. But they want to know, was the band nervous about this gig? Was they what was the
No,
vibe like? I mean, they weren't
band
headline.
were never nervous about playing anywhere. They were, yeah, they were. You know, it was they were like prize fighters going into a ring, just wanting to kick somebody's
Right.
butt. Boy,
That's what
they
I
were.
thought. You said Alan's
Yeah.
attitude was he was the baddest
Oh,
mofo,
yeah.
right?
Instead, especially having Steve up there. I mean, they were.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see when Steve's playing, you can see Ronnie looking back going,
Yeah, I remember that.
you
I
know,
love that.
and he's going, yeah.
I love that. I
He's
could
like,
recall
yeah,
that.
give it to him, Okie, give it to him. You know, he's as proud as you can be, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when he said, that's when he said, come on down here, you know, down that tongue. He was bound and determined he was gonna, invade that tongue.
What was it
Invade
like for
that
you? I
dirt.
mean, how did you feel? Did you ever feel like, oh my God, I'm here with this band? I
No,
mean, what
we
was
were
it
there.
like
We
for
had to
you?
we had to get there like 3 days before the damn show because it
Mhm.
was you had to get in there. There was close to 500,000 people there, and
Yeah.
there was. I mean, all I remember was we were there, got in there at the last minute, and God, we got there, and it looked like going into a giant Indian reservation. All the teepees and stuff set up. It was crazy. Yeah, it was a lot of people there. Everybody had to come in helicopters and stuff. It was wild, man.
Yeah, that's the question. That's what they asked. Did they have to get to the show by helicopter?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
helicopter.
Yeah.
That was the only way
Yeah.
in. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Wow.
why we had to be there 3 days early so we could get the truck in.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. That's Nebworth. The next, actually, we're almost at the end. The last set of questions has to do with AC/DC. And Brian Woods, again, he's asking a question. There was an article again in Classic Rock Magazine about Lynyrd Skynyrd and AC/DC jamming together at some point, at some time. And Gary said that there is a recording of Sweet Home Alabama somewhere where Skynyrd and AC/DC jammed together with this song. Are you aware of that?
No, I don't remember.
All right.
No.
So anybody who's watching this, see if you can find the recording of Sweet Home Alabama with AC/DC. And if you find it, send it to us. Put it on Craig's page. I would love to hear that one. And then the last question from Wayne Mulhern. Isn't he your cousin?
That's what he says. Yeah, he says yeah. He's from Australia. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he says that my fifth or sixth or seventh cousin or something. I guess I don't know. I guess one of the Reeds over in England was some kind of a varmint, and they sent him to Australia as a prisoner or something, and he got some Aussie lady knocked up, and he's a subject of that, I guess.
Oh, he was exiled. So he
That's
wants
not.
to know, I'm sorry, he wants to know, did you party with any other musicians from Australia besides the guys from AC/DC?
Oh God, I don't know. Keith Urban.
Okay.
No, I don't know any other musicians that are from Australia, really.
Australia. I don't either. All right. So that's for today. We had a lot. We had stuff that people sent to me through Facebook Messenger. We had stuff that I was looking through this morning because of your post this morning or yesterday. Yeah. A lot of
Yesterday.
things we covered today. Anybody has any information about those songs, the AC/DC Sweet Home Alabama, send it to Craig. And Craig, you have a couple of things you want to work on, maybe those car decals, right? Stone Roadie car decals, right? Hey, you know what? I think that's a great way to help out the survivors. So we covered a lot today, and I'm was just so happy to be back. And I'll be in touch with Barbara Beulah this week. And whenever we can do a show with her, we'll record it, and then you can air it maybe next Saturday if you'd like.
Yeah, you said you had to sing Happy Trails about 4:30, and that's what it is right
Yeah,
now.
I'm okay for a couple of minutes. We have enough time for you to sing Happy Trails. You're not getting off the hook.
Well, we're gonna have you. I guess you're gonna be back next Saturday, for another Saturday night special with Beulah, or if she's gonna do it this week, or whenever that's
Well, so I have to
gonna
tell
happen.
you, next Friday's my birthday.
Oh wow!
I'm going to
How
be
about that?
62. I'm old, but I'm still younger than you, Craig.
Hey, yeah, 11 years.
So, yeah, so next Saturday I'm going to the beach. I'm going to the Jersey Shore, which you like to diss, and I'm going to be hopefully go in the water. But if you tape the show, we could do the show during the week. You can show it next Saturday. That's
Yeah,
fine.
Beulah. When did Beulah say she's not going to be able to do it? She's going to do it. You're going to talk to her this week sometime. Maybe we can pre-record
Yeah,
it or
we'll
something.
try to do it during the week and maybe at nighttime when she's home from work. If we can tape it, then you can just air it next Saturday if you'd like. Okay.
Yeah, we
And
can
we'll
do it.
do
We
the whole
can
show.
arrange
The whole
something. Yeah,
show.
I'd like to have Beulah on. That'd be fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm still trying to get in touch with Cameron Crowe. Anybody know Cameron? Please tell him we're looking for him. Okay, sing, Craig,
All
please.
righty then. So that was podcast 84 of the Stoned Roadie Show Saturday night special with the lovely Kathy GODSEY, and we're going to call that a wrap. So until the next time on the Stoned Roadie Show is happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, and may the good Lord take a liking to you. And until next time on the Stone Roadie Show, cut. See you
Bye.
later, alligator, at the wild crocodile. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails